Yeah, phase two. We're easing into our lives again, but we're still trying to save lives out there because we just heard from the governor here about an hour ago. He had a lot to say from the peaceful protest on the streets of Baltimore, Columbia, Annapolis, and Roland Park here. And justice for George Floyd. He was pretty adamant about this, right, Kelly?
That's right. He also talked about problems with the flawed elections. And again, as you mentioned, moving into phase two of the recovery plan. Let's start now with WMAR 2 News' Dave Detling, who is there, and he joins us now live from Annapolis. Dave?
Hey there. Well, as you mentioned, this was a loaded press conference. Governor Larry Hogan touching on three things. The first being, of course, the protest, the peaceful protest throughout the state, specifically Baltimore City. He said that Baltimore City really served as a prime example to the rest of the country as to how to protest and demonstrate peacefully. The second thing Governor Hogan touched upon was the mishaps during this election. He said that he does support other lawmakers in their call for the resignation of administrator with the state election board, but due to a state law, she cannot be fired. This, of course, in relation to Linda Malone. And the last thing, which he spent the most time, which everyone is excited to hear, come Friday at 5 p.m., the state of Maryland can move into stage 2 of the recovery process. This means that all non-essential businesses can reopen at 5. We do have a list here that includes manufacturing, all retail stores, large and small. So you're talking about those mom and pop shops that can reopen, wholesalers, warehouses, offices, meaning people can return to work, banks, auto showrooms, and travel agencies at 5 o'clock, they can all reopen. He did also mention tanning salons as well as nail salons. They can reopen, but under strict guidelines, 50% capacity. And again, he is encouraging, while the coronavirus numbers have gone down with the positivity rate under 10% for most all counties throughout the state, he is still encouraging Marylanders to practice good social distancing, wearing those face masks, and again, if you can, to avoid large group masses. He did touch upon the large protest led by the youth, talking about the large numbers and that he is concerned about coronavirus spreading. He did encourage anyone who takes part in these demonstrations to go for a COVID-19 test, saying that there are testing sites out there that remain free. But again, he did say that he is very thankful for all the cooperation between those protesters and law enforcement. But again, the major news out of Annapolis today, starting at 5 p.m. Friday, we are moving into stage 2. We'll send it back to you in the studio.